Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Village of Bartlett Board meeting for May 6, 2025. I call this meeting to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Daney?
Here.
Gansey?
Here.
Dunstein?
Here.
Laporte?
Here.
Sawansky?
Here.
President Wallace?
Here. We have requested that Pastor Simon Guevara of the Bartlett Bible Church do our invocation this evening. Thank you for being here, Pastor.
Thank you so much for the invitation to be here. A transition of leadership is a great time for us to recalibrate ourselves towards the one from whom all blessings flow. Let us pray. Father, we thank you so much for this fertile land, your obvious favor in this community, God. We see through the abundance, through its rich diversity and its opportunities for families to continue to achieve the American dream. Lord, we ask a blessing on the board. We ask for your wisdom, humility, welcoming to new ideas, and yet a passion to preserve what we love about this community. Father, let their work reflect the collegiality we expect to see throughout our community. Bless the time they give to serving. Bless their marriages, their families. And God, remind each of us that these are our neighbors as much as they are leaders and public servants. Father, please take care of our first responders, our school officials, all of our public employees. Keep us safe this year, we pray. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen.
Thank you, Pastor.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I believe Maylin Hakka's got a presentation now. We changed up a couple of things on the agenda if you're following it exactly, but right now we're going to do the presentation for Maylin and Hakka organization, and then we're going to do swearing in, and then we're going to do cake, and then it's town hall. So come on up.
Mayor Wallace, I wasn't prepared to give a speech. We are going to present something to you. However, last minute, Sam told me if I want to say something. So I do want to say something. From the Hakka family, we are all, should I say, sad to see you leave the office, but we know you have a new generation to take over, and we are happy that you're going to do your future endeavor. Whatever you're going to do is going to be very, bright, and the future is going to be fantastic. I know you're going to be a grandfather, so congratulations.
Hey.
Yeah. We are going to present you a gift, and I think this you can rekindle 9 years ago that you and our Hakka family went back to Taiwan to have about week and a half trip.
Yep.
At that time you were a speaker, guest speaker at the conference, and at that time you met at that time was the Vice President Chen. So here is the photo. You are with the Vice President. I want all of you to see. I think this will be a very, very good memory for you to keep, you and Deborah to keep. And of course, that day, supposedly, the President Tsai Ing-wen was supposed to be there, but some other foreign delegates was there, so she could not come from Taipei to, Pingdong that we had our conference. So we like to have our Hakka family to be on the stage with a photo taken. And I don't know, where's Eric? Eric Chu.
Eric, where are you?
And while we're waiting, I want to do some kind of promotion of the, our sister city has been very great in Bartlett City with Miaoli. This year will be a 15th anniversary, and we have a fantastic Taiwan group is coming to have a performance. So I hope you all of you are invited. It's a free event. All of you are invited to attend, but you have to register through Arts in Bartlett so we know the head count. So far, our head count is more than almost 800. So, yeah. So our community really support this sister city relation. So if we be able to have a photo taken with all the city council as well, and then new mayor, we will
I guess we're all going.
welcome you to
Debbie? I know, right? My hair looks completely gray. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Kevin, before we depart, I was just made aware that you have a birthday here. So we'd like to all wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, in May? Yeah. May 17th.
17th.
Yeah.
I'd like to sing happy birthday.
Oh, lovely.
Tradition that Ray has, and he would like, we were going to sing happy birthday to you, so.
All right.
I know that we're all sad that Kevin's leaving us this evening, but we do have something to share about, and that's his birthday. He's on the 17th, and I know his age, but I'm not going to divulge it.
It's a big number.
Unless somebody wanted to give me some cash, then for sure I'll divulge it. But let's all sing happy birthday to Kevin. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kevin. Happy birthday to you.
It's 60, so it's a big one. Thank you all. Thank you. Now for the main event, I'm going to turn this over to Lorna for the swearing in of the elected officials. And I am not one, so.
This is you, isn't it? Did you do this?
I, Lorna Gillis, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of village clerk for the village of Bartlett according to the best of my ability.
State your name.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, John Bevan,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Illinois,
of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of
the duties of the office of
village trustee
village trustee
for the village of Bartlett
for the village of Bartlett
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of village trustee for the village of Bartlett according to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Next, sir.
Congratulations.
I state your name.
I, Joe Laporte,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Illinois,
of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of village trustee
the duties of the office of village trustee
for the village of Bartlett
for the village of Bartlett
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Daniel Gunstein,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Illinois,
of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of village president
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of village president
for the village of Bartlett
for the village of Bartlett
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. What's all this mail? All right. I just want to read something real quick before Kevin and Debbie leave. So, first off, good evening, everybody, and thank you guys, everybody, for coming out tonight in support of Trustee Gansey, Laporte, Batterman, and our entire board, Lorna, Ray, Kurt, our attorney, and Adam Hopkins. We are grateful for all your support. Tonight marks a meaningful transition for the Village of Bartlett as I step into this role as village president following the decade of leadership of Kevin Wallace. Kevin, your years of service have left a lasting impact on our community. Under your leadership, Bartlett has grown stronger, more connected to its residents, and more vibrant. On behalf of our board and our residents, thank you for your commitment and your vision. And for that, I'd like to give a round of applause for you for your 12 years of service here. As we look to the future, I'm proud to say that an unopposed election of all of our board members is a powerful testament to the trust our residents have placed in this board. It reflects the culture, collaboration, transparency, and shared purpose that defines our community. And it sets the tone for what's ahead. So, thank you. I'm excited about the opportunity in front of us, particularly with the continued redevelopment of our downtown, our Lake Street corridor. These areas are central to Bartlett's identity, and we have a chance to shape them in a way that blends our community character with a bold modern version and vision. Whether it's supporting local businesses, creating vibrant public spaces, or enhancing walkability and accessibility, we will be instrumental in planning and ambiguous in our goals. I want a downtown
that not only serves our residents, but draws new visitors from other villages and welcomes them. We want Lake Street to reflect the potential of Bartlett, dynamic, welcoming, and future-ready. These projects are about more than buildings and roadways. They are about the quality of life in Bartlett, the economic vitality, and preserving the spirit of Bartlett for generations to come. I am honored to lead this board and serve our incredible community. Thank you for your trust, your partnership in myself and our entire board. On behalf of everybody, thank you, and your belief in the future that we're building together. So thank you. All right, with that said,
Before we move on, before we have cake or anything, I think that Deborah and the family also deserves a round of applause for allowing us to have Kevin for 12 years. So now the family can
all right, I promise you the heat is not because of budget cuts. So with that said, we are going to break before town hall for cake, and we will reconvene in 10 minutes. All right? So, all right, we're calling this meeting back to order. We don't have to call it.
Over there.
We do. John Bannerman's here, right? So we should call a roll? Yeah. I'm going to ask the clerk to call the roll.
Trustee Betterman?
Here.
Dini?
Here.
Gansey? Here.
Here. Here.
Swansky?
Here.
President Gunstein?
Here. And that takes us to our town hall portion of the meeting. I know we have forms filled out by about 9 people. I just want to let you know, prior to that, if you're here regarding Devon and Prospect, or you're here regarding the dispensary, that will be on the committee of the whole meeting on May 20th. You're still welcome to talk about it, but I would like you to know ahead of time that it is on the May 20th agenda. So with that said, would anybody like to address the board? Please do so kindly by coming up to the podium, state your name, and all the first ones. Carolyn Harrington. Again, please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less.
Right there,
Thank you.
correct,
Right there, thank you.
correct. Your name and address since the start.
I am Carol Harrington. I have lived at 757 Braintree Lane for the past 29 years. I have lived in Bartlett for a total of 38 years. I spoke at the zoning committee meeting last Thursday, and I'm here tonight to strongly request that you uphold the zoning committee's recommendation not to rezone Brewster Creek Center for the Starbuds Cannabis Dispensary. When we voted for you as our trustees, we did so trusting that you would represent all of us, residents, families, businesses, owners alike. That trust comes with the responsibility for you to carefully weigh what is the best for the safety and welfare of the entire community, not just the financial gain from a single business interest. This decision is not about being for or against cannabis. It's about location. The proposed dispensary site is too close to the residential neighborhoods and daycare centers. That raises real concerns, concerns about safety, traffic, and the overall environment in spaces where families live, children play, and parents want peace of mind. Last Thursday, the zoning committee looked at the facts. They listened to our input, of which you have in the minutes of that meeting. They voted 5-3 not to rezone that shopping center. We, the neighbors in this area, have a balanced recommendation. Have the dispensary in Bartlett, but place it somewhere more appropriate, somewhere that preserves the integrity of our neighborhoods, the safety of our children, while still allowing the village to benefit from the revenue that this dispensary can bring. This doesn't have to be a win-lose situation. We can have both, a thriving local economy and protected family-friendly neighborhood and shopping area. The key is responsible planning and leadership that we can trust. So as a mom, grandmother, and retired teacher, I ask you to please honor the recommendation of the zoning committee and listen to our suggestion about the dispensary location. Show us that our trust in you as our elected trustees is well placed. If we work together and make decisions based on the long-term health of our community, everyone can win. I am standing here speaking for the over 100 residents who signed the petition that we submitted at the zoning committee meeting last Thursday. I want you to pretend that you live where we live. If you do that, I am sure you would be standing right here with all the rest of us representing our petitioners, giving a voice for your own children, grandchildren, and neighborhood children that live here. We as adults have a responsibility to speak out and to protect these young people in our community. Putting a cannabis dispensary and hemp Delta 9 THCA bakery in the shopping center is not protecting our children and our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you. Thank you.
Vera Tate.
Evening. My name is Vera Tate, and I reside at 740 Duxbury and have lived there for 22 years. I'm a pediatric neurologist, and I'm the immediate past chief medical officer of the American Academy of Pediatrics. I retired 3 years ago. And I'm here to speak against the dispensary being so close to the child care center. I'm certain that there's no one in this room or anyone else that would ever intentionally do anything to hurt a child. I know that that's true. But let me speak very briefly to a potential problem that might be considered that might not be thought about otherwise. In a review article published in the journal Pediatrics in January of 23, so a very recent review article, the study looked at trends in unintentional cannabis ingestions in children less than 6 years of age. Less than 6 years of age. The years of the study were from 2017 to 2021. It actually looked at, it's a national study, but it looked at ingestions, toxicity, medical outcomes, those kind of things. During 2017 to 2021, there were 7,043 reported exposures, unintentional exposures in children less than 6 years of age, and that was what was reported to the National Poison Control. So those numbers are very low. I'm sure that those are actually under-identified numbers. So an increase to 3,054 in 2021, that's an increase of 1,375% during those years. Though these numbers are really remarkable to me, and hopefully to you all too, even one toddler that's affected is too much. Now, admittedly, most of the ingestions that happen were in the children's home environment, and the American Academy of Pediatrics continues to advocate for prevention strategies such as not putting edibles in packages that look like candy, having child-proof packages, all those things, and actually increase public education. But why even take a chance of a dropped edible being found and eaten by a toddler? You all know how fast a 2-year-old is. And they find everything, in my experience, they find everything that's on the floor or outside, and what do they do with it? They pop it right in their mouth. That's what they do. And that's even with the best supervision. So please at least consider that possibility, as well as the physical safety. What we heard at the previous meeting is that there would be an acknowledged increase of 35 vehicles per hour in that area. And so it's not only the safety of the edibles, but it's the safety of the children coming and going. Please locate this dispensary and any other dispensaries away from child care facilities and away from schools, please. Thank you for your time and what you do and attention, and for the thoughtful recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Board. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brett.
Jim DeSchmidt.
Good evening. My name is Jim DeSmith, 741 Duxbury Lane in Bartlett. As a professional with years' experience in air handling systems, ventilation, dynamics, indoor air quality, I'm here to express my firm opposition to the proposed location of the cannabis dispensary less than 250 feet from the licensed daycare. One of the primary concerns is the proximity of the dispensary's exhaust outlets to the daycare center's air intake system. Cannabis dispensaries, particularly those that include on-site consumption, processing, or even high-traffic retail, typically emit odors and volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, through their exhaust system. While these odors may be considered benign in some contexts, they can contain terpenes and other compounds that, when entered into a neighboring ventilation system, pose a legitimate concern for indoor air quality, especially for vulnerable populations such as young children, babies, and those with health challenges. HVAC intake systems are designed to draw in outdoor air to maintain healthy indoor air. However, when that intake is situated near a source of persistent odor-laden exhaust, as would be the case here, there's a significant risk of cross-contamination. Seasonal prevailing wind conditions, building orientation, ducting geometry, cannabis-related emissions can be drawn in to the kinder care and all nearby ventilation systems and circulate throughout the building. This could lead to indoor air quality violations, parental complaints, and potential health issues, particularly for children and adults with respiratory sensitivities. Also, the outdoor cannabis air exposure can have a negative on children and staff while outside engaging in activities. I urge the relevant decision makers to realize the environment impact and oppose location at 801 and 803 Route 59. From my standpoint, less than a 250-foot distance is not adequate to ensure safe separation between a cannabis dispensary exhaust source and a daycare center's air intake. It is not worth risking the indoor and outdoor quality and health of the children and staff of the daycare, the surrounding businesses, and homes. I strongly recommend this proposal be denied and consider a site that does not present such risks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Robin Kammerer.
Good evening. My name is Robin Kammerer. I live at 1000 Auburn Lane in Bartlett. Congratulations, President Gunstein, and all of you who were just sworn in. I am the widow of former trustee Michael Kammerer, and it's very hard for me to even be in here. So you must know how important this is to me to get up and speak. So I've lived in Bartlett for 35 years. I've lived in the subdivision for 28 years. My husband was a business owner in Bartlett for 30 years. I've raised 3 kids here. They went to school here. We go to church here. I even serve on an organization that assists our police department and our village. And I love this village. And I am very much against bringing Starbuds into the shopping center for many reasons, some that have already been stated, so I won't go into detail, but it's a very family-friendly neighborhood that directly abuts the shopping center. Beaver Pond is right there. I walk around that pond. I see many families there, especially in the summer, taking walks, bike rides, fishing, and those families just may, for the kids, may walk over to McDonald's to get a snack, or over to Walgreens to pick up some soda and snacks, and they will be walking right by that dispensary. Former President Wallace and my late husband We're very supportive of the family-friendly businesses that have built this village into the safe community that it is today. I pray that you take this into consideration when you make this decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin.
Lori Abbott.
My name is Lori Abbott. I live at 847 Braintree Lane. I've been there about 30 years. My husband's been there about 45 years, and we raised our daughter there. I'm here, one moment, to express my concern about the impact of the cannabis dispensary would have, not just outside, but inside. I mean, inside and outside at a family-friendly Brewster Creek Mall. While the dispensary owners may promise that the interior will be secured and adults only, the exterior presence of such a business cannot be ignored, especially when located in a place families and kids frequent daily. I feel the visual experience matters, the visual exposure matters. Just being a mere presence is telling children this is the new norm, that this is there, just like the McDonald's, the Silver Lake, the other locations. Increased visibility leads to normalization in kids. Seeing adults frequently frequent the dispensary, the increase in cars, traffic, noticing signage, merchandise possibly, possibly paraphernalia that's in the windows. I've looked at the pictures from other locations at Hanover and I think Burbank. Also, they have a very attractive storefront and features that makes kids very curious, such as tinted windows, the modern, trendy, eye-catching colors, cameras, a security guard, catchy, bright neon green, like it'll stay, star buds, simple words, kids recognize them, the star, the smells. So all to increase visibility and normalization in a family-friendly neighborhood shopping mall. I think perception matters, influence matters. I think it'll decrease the traffic, especially with the local kids. Parents want them to go there, based on not just because of what that is, but because of all the activity. And I feel it'll bring foot traffic from outside of the community. It'll decrease the foot traffic of the kids, the bike traffic. All that to just get something more focused and inclusive that actually takes an armed guard. I don't think it's appropriate for that location. I think, raising our daughter there, we would walk there, holding her hand. She'd go to Taekwondo for 10 years. Then she would ride with the neighborhood kids to go get, a treat. And then she drives. So, you want the kids in the neighborhood to have that same experience. It's a great location. It's got some good stores in there that they love to go to. They can ride to the community center, the library, the pool. Why not be able to ride to the store in a safe environment that they're not going to be distracted and influenced by adult places? Thank you.
Lori?
Jim Harrington.
Good evening. My name is Jim Harrington. I've been a resident 757 Braintree Lane for the last 29 years, and in Bartlett for 38 years. This is the first time I've ever come in front of the board to address it on any issue. That's how much this location of the Starbuds bothers me. I've been in education for 40 years, teacher, administrator, and coach. I have always done what is best for kids. This dispensary location is not the best or even good for kids. You have 2 daycare facilities on each side of this location. Next month, school will be out. These kids will be on their bikes, walking, scooters, etc. They will be in that area going to McDonald's, Baskin & Robbins, Dunkin' Donuts, Taylor Street, Wingstop, and Walgreens. What kind of setup are we going to do with them looking at star buds every day going to that particular area? What type of example are we setting for our young people? Traffic will also be a major issue. Try making a left-hand turn onto Route 59 out of that strip mall. Try getting into that strip mall sometimes trying to make a left-hand turn. When you try to exit on Stearns, 6 hours a day you're not allowed to make a left-hand turn on Stearns. Where is the traffic going to go? Guess what? They're going to exit Norwood, and they're going to go down to Braintree, and they're going to make a left or right on Braintree. And if you're not aware, half of Braintree has no sidewalks. So people are on the streets of Braintree all the time. Obviously, you can see traffic will definitely be an issue. As president of the Eldon Sports Hall of Fame, we have 15 committees that report to me. Outstanding committees. They do a great job. When a committee comes to us with a strong recommendation, the executive board, which I'm a part of, accepts their recommendation 99.9% of the time. The zoning committee here in Bartlett last week saw over the 100 petitions, read all the letters, and listened to the people's concerns. They voted in favor to leave the strip mall as is. Why have a zoning committee here in Bartlett if you are not going to take their recommendations seriously? They spoke last week. The Steak and Shake building in Route 59 in Streamwood was turned into a dispensary. That's 5 minutes away from us. And the Boston Market building on Randall Road in Elgin was turned into a dispensary. Both of these buildings are standalone buildings, not in neighborhoods. Move this one, the Starbuds, to the Brewster Creek Industrial Park area, or how about that nice vacant building, CVS, on Route 59 and Army Trail Road? There's no neighborhoods around there, and it would be much easier to get into those two locations. Everybody would be happy. Please, Dan and the rest of the board, what's best for the neighborhood and kids, please take into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Danielle Burton.
Good evening, and congratulations, Mayor Gunsting and esteemed Village Board trustees. Thank you for your time. My name is Danielle Gary Burton, and I live at 1028 Norwood Lane in Bartlett. And I'm speaking tonight not in opposition to cannabis, but in opposition to its proposed location. The Starbuds dispensary, as proposed, would be placed less than 300 feet from the KinderCare Daycare Center, directly within a family-centered B3 residential shopping center. That is far too close for comfort and far outside of the spirit of responsible zoning. Our zoning committee voted 5-3 to reject their proposal for Starbuds to be that close to a daycare center. That decision was rooted in both logic and law. Illinois state law, DuPage County ordinances, and your own zoning code all recognize that sensitive spaces like daycares, schools, and residential neighborhoods deserve extra protections. DuPage County requires 1,000 to 1,500 feet of distance. This proposal doesn't even come close to that. This isn't a gray area. And to date, like Jim Harrington said, we have already received over 100 signatures from residents of Bartlett Estates. We have also in this folder received over 60 signatures alone from the Academy for Kids Daycare Center of concerned parents who are also opposed to having a cannabis dispensary so close to them as well. Sorry, it's a sensitive subject and it's real close to my heart, so. Now, as you trustees have the clear legal authority, I would argue the obligation to uphold the protections under the law that keep our community safe. It isn't about denying access to cannabis. It's about keeping high-traffic adult-use businesses away from children and residential families. This is both reasonable and responsible decisions for the board to make. To approve this rezoning would be to ignore the zoning committee's sound judgment, disregard established legal guidance, and turn your back on families who have voted for you and are now counting on you to protect the integrity of our family-friendly community. We urge you to do what is right, not just legally, but ethically. Uphold the zoning committee's decision, say no to this rezoning, and protect what makes Bartlett a place where families belong. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle.
Richard Lewis.
Hello, my name is Richard Lewis at 868 Braintree. My wife and I have lived in Bartlett for about 35 years now, most of that time on Braintree. Welcome to the new village president and trustees. Congratulations, and there's no turning back now, so I'm sorry. With that said, I'm here to strongly urge you to support the Zoning Commission's 5-3 vote not to approve the special use permit for the adult use cannabis dispensary at Brewster Creek. The comments made thus far opposing the dispensary all hold great merit. And obviously, as village president and trustees, you are also our fellow residents. I hope the concerns presented are landing with you as if you were in the shoes of the parents and staff at the two child care centers within hearing distance of the proposed dispensaries, and in the shoes of the residents that are within the immediate neighborhood, some of which have homes directly adjacent to the proposed location. Some of the issues include that have already been discussed. One is an adult use dispensary and lounge in a shopping area, frequently used by children walking and biking to locations in the mall. Exposure to the cannabis exhaust from the dispensary vault, which, by the way, is required by the state of Illinois to have exhaust from the vault, and also during the product delivery to that location. A special use permit that would fall far outside the generally accepted zoning codes of communities similar to Bartlett. And also, please note that this is not a medical cannabis dispensary. It is an adult recreational use dispensary. And oddly enough, state regulation prohibit medical cannabis dispensaries from being within 1,000 feet of child care centers. Why that's not in the adult use regulations, I don't know. Each of these issues on their own are sufficient to support the Zone Commission's 5-3 recommendation to deny. Some of these issues overwhelmingly support that recommendation. Cannabis dispensaries in the state of Illinois are required to have security guards because of the known potential for unruly behavior and even criminal activity. Sometimes these security guards are armed. So the question is, do we as a village modify our already existing zoning so that a business that is expected to have issues to the point that requires a security guard, we want those so that they can operate within literally a few steps of a child care center? And this is taken directly from the village's special use application. How can we possibly see that this is something that contributes to the welfare of the neighborhood? How can we possibly see that this is not detrimental to the safety, morals, or general welfare of persons, and I will include and note children, residing or working in that vicinity? Thank you very much.
Richard?
James Pantos.
My name's Jim Pantos. I live at 1065 Auburn Lane. I'm going on my 30th year anniversary here in Bartlett. I'm not opposed to progress, and I know as new members, and welcome, by the way, you have a dynamic responsibility of your constituents and what you want to do with the village to create revenue. We all get that. I think you see the passion here that everybody's coming up here really is related to one issue. And the one issue is, do we trust the board and the new members to vote? Because we already went through this with the Planning and Zoning Commission. A couple of things that I want to just bring up, in addition to all the other good comments that were brought up here, is that during the presentation, the individual that was representing 801 for the cannabis is just phase one. Phase two is the bakery. They're going to have a bakery there. That's phase two right next to them. So you're going to have more edibles and more items that look like candy. And I'm going to just say I've lived, and most people want to live in Bartlett either because of the neighborhood. I just came by through the Beaver Pond, and there were at least 20 to 30 people jogging, walking, and just strolling around. And these people are all transitory. I learned something very valuable with the presenter. He said 70% of their business is online. It means these people don't care about the community. We all care about the community. I looked up here during these pictures, all the family that's up here. Just consider that when you're making this decision. And I was shocked because Kurt mentioned, I had mentioned to him that the Cannabis Act has 2,500 feet. The city of Chicago, which is, huge, has a lot of lawyers representing them. In their wisdom, in an urban environment, have not only no-go areas, but they restrict 500 feet. And we have no ordinance to restrict us. Now, I'm not privileged. I wasn't blessed to have kids, so I'm not here with any skin in the game. But this is morally wrong. And if you think about these transitory people, they said it was 35 people an average an hour. I guarantee you during their busy times, which is not going to be when the kids are in school in the daycare, there's 120 of them that drop off their children every morning or take a bus and got to get picked up. That's a common parking area. There's no distinction. That actually playground is between the building, which I would assume these people are saying is 250 feet. The playground is right between that and the building we're talking about. So if these other people are correct with this fumes that come out of there, especially if the bakery goes there, why would you want to do that? It doesn't seem reasonable to me. It just is so in my mind, and I'm not a religious zealot. I'm just here because I'm a constituent, and I have concerns for the children because I've lived here a long time. And even one of the members of the committee on the zoning and planning said, listen, you've got a vast area of space in Bartlett. If you want the revenue, move them to the outskirts so these transitory people who don't even care about Bartlett, that are going to come in here, get their fix, zoom in through the parking lot and zoom out of the parking lot, or go through the neighborhood because of the congestion. They don't care about the fact that kids are walking across on a daily basis. So to me, it doesn't seem reasonable. And my fear, because I've never been here before in either planning and zoning or in this boardroom before. But I think this is morally wrong, and I really hope that you consider that your constituents don't mind you doing this, but not here. It's the wrong thing. So please don't vote for it. And I have a fear that you guys, some of your members here are going to vote for it, but I hope not.
Thank you, Jim.
Agnes Januskis.
Good evening, and congratulations on your election and your start of your tenure. And I hope you do your work with honor and respect to the people who voted for you. My name is Agni Januskis. My family lives at 809 Kingston Lane. I'm a 20-year-long resident of Bartlett. I'm here today to speak not just as a neighbor, but also as a mother and property owner. Both my children were born here. We intentionally picked Bartlett community for raising our kids, because it was always a family-centered town. When I recently learned about the proposal to open a marijuana dispensary near our neighborhood, I have to say, it worried me. This isn't just a business issue. This is a public health concern. We've spent years allowing our kids to participate in DARE program, which in its time was educating them about the dangers of use of marijuana. We've spent years telling our children about the dangers of tobacco smoke, and now we're facing a new threat, secondhand marijuana smoke. Studies from official medical institutions of US are clear. Secondhand marijuana smoke contains many of the same harmful chemicals as tobacco smoke. But unlike tobacco, marijuana smoke is often more pungent and persistent. You've probably all experienced it. Sometimes you can smell it on Route 59, and you don't know which car it's coming from. If this dispensary opens nearby, what happens to our park, our sidewalks, the air inside and outside the nearby businesses and homes? My son and his friends daily walk and ride their bikes to Dunkin', McDonald's, and Walgreens. They play in the natural areas around Beaver Pond. They grew up participating in the village fishing derby held in that area. Opening marijuana business here means more people using it publicly in the nearby park, despite restrictions, and more smoke that drifts into spaces where our kids play, learn, and grow. What one of the people said also triggered me. The name of the place is Starbuds. Well, it sounds like Starburst to me, and that's a candy. And if they're gonna put colorful memorabilia and say Starbuds, you know, it's attractive. I don't want my children to think that this is normal, this is what we do. It's just like candy. And they're gonna have baked goods there that will emit, you know, pleasant smells of vanilla and chocolate. I'm here to ask you, are we doing everything we can to protect our children from this health harm? Can we truly say it's safe to have a dispensary so close to residential areas, where exposure to secondhand smoke becomes a daily risk? I urge you to consider the long-term health implications, not just the short-term tax revenues. Our children deserve clean air, safe streets, and a community that prioritizes their well-being over convenience or commerce. Please do not approve this location for the dispensary so close to our homes and daycares. Let's send a message that Bartlett puts families first. The zoning committee already spoke, 5-3, and sided with me and my neighbors to not change the zoning and not to allow this business in this location. Villages have a duty to ensure zoning and permit decisions don't cause unreasonable harm to residents and may face liability if they fail to adequately protect community. You were elected to your positions with our trust to put the citizens of Bartlett first. Please do not betray our trust. Thank you.
Thank you, Aggie. Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak tonight during our town hall?
Smith again. I'd like to address the board members here today. I'd like you to remember and think back 10, 20, 30 years, and all of you that have children, may have children. Back then, would you be taking your kids to a daycare center knowing there's a marijuana dispensary right nearby? Would you be looking to move into Bartlett knowing there's a marijuana dispensary in your backyard? I think not to both those questions. Would you want a dispensary in your backyard? I think not. So I'd really like to appeal to all of you to really think on that decision and for the health and safety of everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Well, Dominic, do we have anybody online that would like to speak?
No, sir.
That closes the town hall. And that takes us to our consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda with an asterisk will be considered routine and enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these unless the board members do so request. In the event, the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered to be an appropriate point of the agenda. With that said, would anybody like to add or remove anything off the consent agenda?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to add item F8 to the consent agenda.
Any questions on that? No?
Nope.
Anybody else like to add anything to consent agenda? Which one? E1? Okay. E1. Any questions or concerns on that? All right.
I'd like to add C1, 2, and 3
1,
to the consent.
3. Any questions around that? All right. Any other adds? All right. With that, I would make a motion. I'd like to entertain a motion to amend the consent agenda
To include?
adding F8, E1, C1, C2, and C3.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, so moved by Renee, second by trustee Deeney. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Batterman?
Yes.
Daney?
Yes.
Gansey?
Yes.
Hopkins? Yes. Laporte?
Yes.
Swansky?
Yes.
That motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the amended consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Daney, seconded by trustee Laporte. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Daney?
Yes.
Gansey?
Yes.
Hopkins? Yes. Laporte?
Yes.
Swansky?
Yes.
Batterman?
Yes. Motion, that carries. Treasurer's report, there is none. That takes us to the president's report. And tonight, our first item on there is our Bike and Run Advisory Committee, a 3-year term. With the advice and consent of the village board, I will reappoint Barry Krall to serve a 3-year term on the Bike and Run Plan Advisory Committee, beginning May 6, 2025, and expiring May 6, 2028.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Just the motion.
What's that?
It was motion by Daney and
Oh, sorry. Motion by trustee Daney, second by trustee Laporte.
trustee Gansey?
Yes.
Hopkins? Yes. Laporte?
Yes.
Swansky?
Yes.
Batterman?
Yes.
Daney?
Yes.
Next item on the president's report is National Police Week, and I have asked trustee Renee Swansky to read that.
Thank you, Mr. President. Proclamation National Police Week, May 12th through the 18th, 2025. Whereas the Congress and the President of the United States have designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which it falls as National Police Week, and whereas the members of the Bartlett Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Bartlett, and whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties and responsibilities of their police department, and that members of our police department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation. And whereas the Bartlett Police Department has grown to be a modern and nationally accredited law enforcement agency which unceasingly provides a vital public service, now therefore I, Renee Swansky, on behalf of Dan Gunstein, Village President, call upon all citizens of Bartlett and upon all patriotic, civil, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 12th through the 18th as National Police Week to commemorate police officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their communities, and in doing so have established for themselves an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and securities of all citizens. I further call upon all citizens of Bartlett to observe Thursday, May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, to honor those peace officers who, through their courageous deeds, have lost their lives or become disabled in the performance of duty, and let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes, dated the 6th day of May, 2025.
Chief, would you like to come up and get that proclamation? All right, that takes us to our second proclamation of the night. It is Building Safety Month. Whereas the Village of Bartlett is committed to recognizing that our growth and strength depends on the safety and essential role our homes, buildings, and infrastructure play both in everyday life and when disasters strike. And whereas our confidence and resilience of these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion and vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professional, laborers, plumbers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safety, construction of buildings, and whereas these guardians are dedicated members of the International Code Council, a nonprofit that brings together local, state, territorial, tribal, and federal officials who are experts in the build environment to create and implement the highest quality codes and standards to protect us in the buildings we live, learn, play, and whereas these modern building codes and standards include safeguards to protect the public from hazards such as hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, wildland fires, floods, and earthquakes, and whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the crucial role of our community's largely known protectors of public safety, our code officials who assume us safe, sustainable, and affordable buildings that are essential to our prosperity. And whereas Game On, the theme for Building Safety Month 2025 encourage us all to get involved and raise awareness about building safety on personal, local, and global scale. And whereas each year in observation of Building Safety Month, people all over the world are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety, resilience, and economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to all of us by local, state, tribal, territory, federal, building safety, fire prevention districts in protecting lives and property. Now therefore, I, Dan Gunstein, Village President of the Village of Bartlett, both Cook, DuPage, and Kane counties, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2025 as Building Safety Month. And I know tonight we're reappointing some of our inspectors, so thank you guys for the work and the continued education that you guys do. So, all right. The final item on our President's Report is a proclamation for Bike and Run, and I have asked Trustee Gansey to read that.
Thanks, President Gunstein. Village of Bartlett proclamation recognizing May 2025 as Bike Month. Whereas throughout the month of May, the Village of Bartlett will celebrate biking and the freedom, the joy, and the well-being it brings, as well as the power that more people riding bikes has in making life better for everyone. And whereas May 12th through 18th, 2025 is Bike to Work Week, and May 16th, 2025 is Bike to Work Day. And whereas throughout the month of May, the residents of Bartlett and its visitors will experience the joys of bicycling. And whereas bicycling has been shown to improve citizens' health, well-being, and quality of life, growing the economy of Bartlett and reducing pollution and congestion on our streets and roads. And whereas the Bike and Run Plan Advisory Committee, Spin Doctor Cycle Works, Park Districts, and Forest Preserve Districts will be joining the League of American Bicyclists in promoting bicycling during the month of May 2025, as both a mode of transportation and source of year-round recreation to attract more visitors to our local parks and bike network, as well as restaurants, shops, and attractions. And whereas these groups are also promoting greater public awareness of bicycle operation safety, education during Bike Month and year-round in an effort to reduce collisions, injuries, and fatalities, and improve health and safety for everyone on the road. And now, therefore, I, Stephanie Gansey, on behalf of Dan Gunstein, Village President of the Village of Bartlett, Cook, DuPage, and Kane Counties, Illinois, do hereby proudly proclaim the month of May 2025 as Bike Month in Bartlett.
Thank you, Trustee Gansey and Swansky, for reading those. That takes us to questions and answers. Does anybody have any questions for staff?
Mr. President, I know that we already recognize Kevin, but we have a May anniversary. We have Tony Frieden. He has 20 years of service with the village. And also, we're going to do this again. There's another gentleman up here that we're going to sing happy birthday to, and that's Joe Laporte. His birthday's on the 24th. So with that, let's sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joe. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really hope you're embarrassed. That was my intent. I have nothing else to offer.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Daney. Any other questions for staff?
I don't have any questions. I just want to thank all the teachers. I know some of them mentioned they were here tonight. This week is Teacher Appreciation Week, so I thank you guys for what you guys do, day in and day out. You guys are invaluable to the community, so just thank you guys.
All right. That'll take us to standing committee reports. Planning and Zoning Committee, Hopkins, Chairman Hopkins.
Thank you, President Gunstein. There is nothing to report tonight.
Thank you, President Hopkins. Community and Economic Development Committee Chairman Gansey.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's nothing to report tonight.
Thank you, Chairman Gansey. Finance Committee Chairman Laporte.
Thank you, Mr. President. All of our items have been covered under consent.
Chairman Laporte. License and Ordinance Committee Chairman Batterman.
Thank you, Mr.
First
President.
item.
Yes. I have two items that were covered under consent as D2 and D3. D1 is our annual appointments of village officers by the village president with the advice and consent of the board. And I motion, find it, first time, I'm already stumbling. So I move to consent to the village president's annual officer appointments as presented. That's A through O.
All right, and that is the appointment of Village Administrator Paula Schumacher, Village Attorney Kurt Aspereth, Village Treasurer Matt Coulter, Village Budget Officer and Director of Finance Matt Coulter, Director of Public Works Dan Dinges, Building and Code Enforcement Division Manager, Building Official John Komorowski, Electrical Building Inspector William Detmer, Building Inspector Dwayne Burris. Oh, we need a second on that first?
No, we can
Oh,
finish
okay. Health Officer Frank Bertolomi, Interim Chief Police William Nadenhoff, Village Engineer Nick Taylor-Rocco, Director of Planning and Development Services Zoning Administrator Christy Stone, Administration Hearing Officer Frank Bongiovanni, Open Meetings Act Officer Paula Schumacher, Freedom of Information Act Officer Sam Hughes, and Scott Strickey in Sam Hughes' absence. Can I get a second?
Do we have a motion?
We have a motion on the floor.
I'll proudly second that. I think all these people are outstanding staff members, and I'm very proud to have them on board with us. So I proudly second that.
Motion by Chairman Batterman, seconded by Trustee Daney. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Hopkins?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Swansky? Yes. Batterman?
Yes.
Gainey?
Yes.
Gansey?
Yes.
That motion carries. Police and Health Committee, Chairman Swansky.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our agenda item was covered under consent.
Thank you, Chairman Swansky. Public Works and Golf Committee, Chairman Daney.
Thank you, Mr. President. Items F1 through F8 were all covered under consent. We have nothing else this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Daney. That brings us to new business. I will be issuing a Class 1 liquor license for Hearthwood Living, Senior Living. Is there any concerns around that?
Where are they located?
I believe this is the Clare Oaks. They want to have wine with their dinners. So if there's no objection, we will issue that liquor license. All right, that brings us to question and answers. Anybody have any questions or need any answers?
I have a comment. I would like to thank Bartlett Hills for a fantastic Easter brunch.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you. It was very good. Thank you.
How's Mother's Day shaping up?
273 with 2 tables left.
Oh,
Wow.
that's awesome. Great job on that. All right. Get a motion to,
Mr. President,
Yes.
I would just like to thank you for your efforts this evening. You did an outstanding job for your first meeting.
thank you.
And I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
We are adjourned.
We gotta do it.
And that brings us,
We gotta do a roll call.
what's that?
We gotta
Oh, roll call, sorry.
Trustee Betterman,
Yes.
Daney,
Yes.
Gansey,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Laporte,
Yes.
Swansky.
Yes.
We are adjourned.